Welcome back to another episode of NewOrleans.Football presented by PJ's Coffee. We're coming to you from our new studio up on Veterans Memorial Boulevard, right upstairs from Matt Bauer's new pre-owned dealership and next door to the Ford dealership. Check him out here, get the best cars, get the best customer prices, or check him out at any of his locations all throughout the Gulf Coast region. If you aren't signed up for NewOrleans.Football, make sure you're doing that. Use the code NOF, save 20% off your first payment. Get all of our news, our analysis, the Nickcast, the members-only podcast, everything that I write, everything that Mike writes, everything that John Hendricks writes. It is the best $9 that you will ever spend. And if you use that code, it'll take it down to $7.20 in the first month, or buy an annual subscription, 20% off at $71 for the whole entire year. It is a great deal. Our first topic today is presented by Shough Insurance. Is Tyler Shough making all the right moves? To recap, he gets here. He goes to Drago's. He gets the oysters, I think. Sits down, has the meal. It's something that apparently matters a lot.
It matters a lot.
It made people really happy that he's here, that he's ingratiating himself with the community. He's buying into the New Orleans culture. You buy into the New Orleans culture, New Orleans will buy into you. It's reciprocal. You show love, they'll love you back. I think that's really, it really matters. It's really part of being the Saints quarterback here is making sure you're connecting with the community. And I think objectively, that is the one thing that Derek Carr never was able to do. There was never that love to and that love back. It started off on the wrong foot, and then the other foot never got planted. He tried. It just didn't really quite work. And then we see he's working out at Tulane with Bob Means, Foster Moreau, Juwan Johnson, some other people kind of getting in that early work. Not trying to take anybody's number. You see Abdul Carter stepping in the Hornets' nest after Hornets' nest in New York on that, trying to get Lawrence Taylor's number, trying to get Phil Simms' number. Tyler Shough just says, hey, like, whatever number's available, I'll take. Like, it feels like he's just winning.
You forgot one.
What is it?
You forgot one of the big three. I'll die on the field for you, New Orleans.
On the field for you, New Orleans. Yeah, that's another one, the Instagram post. So it just feels like he's winning.
3 for 3 with 3 homers before we've ever even seen him in rookie camp.
He's playing with that bat the Yankees were using in the opener, the home run bat. But yeah, I mean, it looks like he's doing all the right things to win over everybody, and it feels authentic.
It feels authentic. It only matters so much. I mean,
you got to win games.
Spencer Rattler didn't do any one of those 3 things, and he was also beloved. Like, you're going to have to win and keep winning to maintain this. But yeah, that is something that I think makes New Orleans unique. And now I haven't lived everywhere, and I'm sure it's true a bunch of places. I'm sure it's true in Buffalo. I'm sure it's probably true in Green Bay. I'm sure there's little traditions places have. But this has absolutely been true since I've lived in New Orleans. Anyone that wants to embrace it, Archie Manning is still beloved, 50 years after, he was in his heyday with the Saints because he chose to live uptown, and he still lives uptown to this day. Like that, Drew Brees made the line famous, but, we've heard it for years, love New Orleans, I'll love you back. And that kind of stuff matters. That kind of stuff matters if you want people rooting for you. Kind of stuff matters if you want people cheering for you in the Dome instead of booing for you in the Dome. If you don't want them to turn on you, if you don't want them to be suspicious of you, obviously the football is going to matter a lot more. And for that reason, I think the Sunday morning video of Artie being out there on a field a week before rookie mini camp and gathering even veterans like Juwan and Foster, I think is a really good sign. That's probably the best sign of the 3.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a thing, though. Like, Spencer Rattler wears cool hats and puts the effort into it and says, hey, I want to be here. And there's people that will fight for him forever. Yeah. I mean, there are quarterbacks that have played here, and I'm not going to name names, but people know who they are, that weren't very good or weren't as good as other players, but they loved it here, and the other guy necessarily didn't. And there are people that would kill to have one of these other guys instead of Derek Carr just because they like him. Like, it is a thing that matters. And whether Shough became aware of that or he's just operating out of his own instincts or whatever, or somebody gave him advice, even if somebody gave him advice, he's smart enough to take it and apply it and use it.
Good instincts being showed is a positive sign.
Yeah, good instincts are being shown. Ultimately you got to win games. You got to get on the field. You got to play well. You got to do all that stuff. But he's at least positioning himself into a place where, look, I feel like a lot of the conversation about the last quarterback there were a lot of auxiliary things around it that weren't necessarily just independently specifically about the football part of it, because there were just the missteps outside of that. And Shough's at least making the right steps to where I think these conversations can be had just through the prism of what he does on Sundays. And that feels like a relief. It feels like a relief to me, at least, that it's kind of heading that way.
Another positive, and again, we're talking about missteps from the last quarterback, and you know, they've been struggling to find the right fit since Drew Brees, and I think Teddy Bridgewater did a lot of these things positively, and I think he was beloved. I don't think anyone's had that connection since then. Is, you know, some of
Jameis.
those, so yeah, but that wasn't universal. I didn't think Jameis's. It was passionate. The people who supported Jameis were passionate, but I don't think it was necessarily universal. Like there was kind of a back and forth conversation, I thought, with Jameis, but absolutely, he did a lot of those right things too. But what I was going to say is teammates and how you respond to teammates and how they respond to you, which obviously came up a little, especially with the Chris Olave incident on the field, the Aaron McCoy incident on the field when Derek Carr was here. But hearing Quincy Riley talk about Tyler Shough on draft day, and they only played together, I think, for 1 year, but it sounded like a genuine bond, not like, oh yeah, that guy was cool, he was on my team. He's like, no, that guy's the man. I think he's the best quarterback in this draft. Instantly, like, I mean, he went on for like a paragraph listing all these things. So that, you know, that's going to be even more important than how much the fan base gravitates toward him is how his teammates gravitate toward him. So we've seen a couple positive signs there too, which I think is really important. And Jameis definitely had teammates gravitating toward him. There's no doubt about that.
Jameis has had the playbook for how to win over the city too. He shows up to the Mardi Gras parades, is out here whenever there's a big event going on, is still out here whenever there's a big event going on. You know, if he had played in 19 when they're like a Super Bowl contender, like that, he might have kind of came off the same way. But obviously there were other things within Jameis's story and history that you know, obviously people are going to be off put by. But I think he did as good of a job as anyone could have done of executing the like connection with the city. You know, he did really. It's still there. Like the Super Bowl thing, he's like still out there. He's still here for Mardi Gras. Like Jameis is just he played it right. So did Teddy, and hopefully Shough does too. Because like this, Breeze obviously did. Like it matters. Like it actually matters. Like people will not like you if you don't like it here.
What's a reason this is a worthy lead topic on the show, I think, a week and a half after the draft is Shough was not a universally liked draft choice because of, you know, where he was picked, you know, where he was projected to go. Then he went 40th or whatever. I mean, it's amazing. Like I recognize some of the names of people who I know that are, you know, on social media, people I know that text me and everything like that. They're like, who like came around from Friday to a week later. The I'll die on the field for you New Orleans post alone. All right, I actually love this Shough. I mean, like, it's crazy how much he turned the narrative on. I actually do like this draft pick now because of that. But, you know, obviously, again, this is like a side conversation. It's one of the most fascinating things about covering the Saints. I mean, you felt it in your life personally, like having covered another team in another city and covered this team. Just how much this fan base genuinely will love you, especially if you invest in them. So that is always an interesting conversation. Obviously, none of this gives you any points beyond how hard you work, how well you learn the offense, how well you perform on the field. But I think it's a fascinating conversation, and I don't think we've ever seen it play out from a Friday to the next Friday as much as we have just in him being a draft pick that maybe people didn't love, to that post, to eating at Drago's, and then everybody being like, I'm all in on this guy. Where can I get a jersey?
Yeah, I'm glad it kind of shifted that way too, because like it doesn't matter where he got picked. It doesn't matter what you thought about it. It doesn't matter what we thought about it. Once he's on the team, he's on the team, and now it's just the evaluation of what he does on the field. So feeling that change a little bit is kind of loosened things up. What would be a huge relief is if the Saints came to a resolution one way or the other with Derek Carr. And this topic is presented by Hard Hide Punch Tool Strawberry Whiskey. And make sure you're checking out the Peach Blend, the Chilton County Peach Whiskey Orange Bottle. Make sure you go check that out as well. The Saints need to set a deadline with Carr on just...
Yeah, I think they do. I really think they do. This isn't like a contract negotiation where you know what the end result is going to be. The end result of this is almost certainly that he's not going to be playing for this team. I would say they absolutely need to set a deadline if there's any chance of him playing for this team, and that is him. I think it's already passed, but it's got to be showing up for OTAs by May 20th. They start OTAs on May 20th. Look, everything going on with Derek Carr definitely might be an injury. Definitely is an injury. I believe that he's at least evaluating an injury. I don't know the severity of that injury, if it might be a season-ending injury or not. He obviously revealed some personal family stuff that he was dealing with. I understand that. But it has officially reached the very weird, unusual stage that he has not been here for any day or any stage of the offseason conditioning program. And yes, that's voluntary, but look at the pictures the Saints are posting online every day. It is 90% of the team. Some veterans don't come. That's fine. If Alvin or Kamara, Tyrann Mathieu has done this a lot and they're comfortable with their routines and everything. But this is Derek Carr, the quarterback of the team that is installing a new offense with new coaches. I'm not sure he's even met every member of the offensive coaching staff face-to-face yet. I know he hasn't worked with Brandon Cooks yet, who is at this camp, along with any other receivers, the young rookie receivers that are going to show up or whatever. It's pretty staggering to me that the quarterback is not here installing, learning this offense in the classroom, on the sideline, mentoring Spencer Rattler as he learns this offense, figuring it out together. Those things really, really matter. So if this is voluntary, OTAs cannot be considered voluntary for him. If there's any chance he's going to play on this team or remain on this team in a leadership role, I think he has to be here for all of OTAs.
Yeah, and look, you can sell me on, hey, his wife had a miscarriage. He can't be away right now. He can't be here. She needs him. Okay, that's fine. His kids need him. Okay, that's fine. I can buy into all that. Not being able to come to get like an evaluation yet is very weird to me. Even allowing for all that, when he lives in Fresno, right?
I believe that's where the family moved now.
Like he posted that they're living in California.
He said he talked about it in that event. That's where they had the bonfire, and that's where they have the farmland now and everything like that.
So based on the information we have, he lives in California. He was speaking on a stage in Las Vegas, so at least for some amount of time, he was able to leave and take care of that responsibility. Maybe his wife accompanied him, maybe his kids accompanied him, whatever. He couldn't come here like for just a day to get the evaluate. Like it starts to not make a lot of sense. Yeah. And there might be good reasons for all this stuff, but in the silence, there's thoughts, and thoughts lead you to where they lead you. And these are logical thoughts to have of like, why hasn't this happened? So it's just hard for me to understand. But yeah, I think you have to set a date on this. Like somebody needs to do something. Derek needs to decide I'm coming and I'm getting my evaluation, or the Saints need to say like, okay, then you're gone. It doesn't, like at this point, it just feels like you need to draw the line in the sand. The financial situation is what it is. I would maybe there's a process you have to play out here to be able to try to cut him and recoup. Maybe you start having a battle over when the injury occurred. Maybe all this stuff happens and there's a process for it. I don't know how it's going to play out, but for me, it is weeks away. If I were running this team, it is weeks, maybe even days away. I guess you don't really worry about rookie camp too much, but it is nearing the point of where this is going to become a distraction for the team, and just get him out of here. Like, let him go do something else. He does not want to be here. I don't know. Maybe if he's maybe there's an agreement to get some money back. I don't really know what Derek Carr is about as far as like this situation here, but it just feels like the Saints seem to be done with it.
Yeah, look, technically, if they're just figuring out how to handle the injury, waiting to decide if he's going to have surgery or not, is he going to go on IR? Is he going to go on the PUP list? I mean, technically, you don't have to decide any of that stuff till September, but that is all like, okay, hopefully it's communicated and it's understood by everybody. Derek's not playing this year. We're just going to figure out what the paperwork's going to look like. Ryan Ramczyk is a perfect example of that. Ryan Ramczyk wasn't going to play last year. I don't know when they put him on what list, but everybody knew. There can't be an uncertainty or a cloud like, hey, Derek Carr might show up July 25th and be QB1. Like it needs to be decided. If there was any chance of him playing, he should be here already. He should be here ASAP. if he's not going to play and this is just a matter of when they're going to put him on a list, that needs to be communicated, because the Shough and Rattler can't be showing up and being like, so where do we fit in all of this? That uncertainty is not good. The receivers, who's my quarterback going to be? The team, the coaches.
That's what I'm saying.
What's the playbook going to look like? Who's running it or whatever? This stuff all needs to be decided ASAP, but like now. I mean, they're installing this offense on the field in 2 weeks from tomorrow, and they need to be writing. They need to know who their quarterback's going to be.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's getting very close to Derek Carr becoming a distraction for this team, and you can't allow this situation just to linger forever. And I think that it's multifaceted. Like, you're trying to build a culture around a new coach who's coming in, trying to get the buy-in of we want guys who love football, who want to be here. You got a guy that probably loves football but doesn't want to be here in Carr. So I think, you got to just kind of cut that out. Like, if you're trying to build this culture, and B, like, I just don't think it can be a thing that can go on until September. Like, it has to be settled just for one reason or another. The financial ramifications are massive, but here's the thing. I know a lot of people want it to be like a punitive thing. I've seen this feedback of, well, no, keep him on the team. Don't let him go play anywhere. Just hide him, send him away, whatever. The thing is like, the Saints are going to be in business after this. And what you are is what you are. You can't be a team that does nasty business and still operate the way you do. It's you lost. Like, you lost. So whether you want to take your loss now or try to prolong it a year from now, I think you make the loss greater just in terms of your ability to do future business if you do this in a nasty, vindictive type of way. I think you just have to cut it out, take your loss, and just take the public scorn and all that and walk down to the owner's office and say, hey, we got beat. And, that's not either way that happened. But I think there's a better way to do this. And I think there's a better way for your team. Like, just getting him out of here and just clearing the air and letting it be fresh. Like, I think that would feel like a massive sense of relief. I think if you're not going to have him, I don't think you want him lingering around at this point. I don't even think you want him back after this in any capacity. I don't think you can look to him to be a leader, he's in a sling, but he's leading. No, he's already like showing values here that I think that are just better off for him to go somewhere else. I think Derek is operating in what's good for Derek, and there's fine, but that's not what's good for the Saints. And I don't think you can expect that person to do what's good for the Saints and put himself behind it. So I think it's just time to move on. I think Derek has shown what he wants. I think he's shown that he really badly wants out. Go.
Yeah. We're talking deadline, so I will mention that June 1st date, in case everyone is not completely clear on what June 1st means. There are contract reasons to make the release a June 1st release, but the NFL has rules that they could cut him today. They could have cut him in March and call it a June 1st release. So there's no reason to wait until June 1st to officially release him.
All right, we're going to hit a quick break here, and we will be right back.
Rouse's Markets is voted best grocery store in New Orleans, best grocery store in Baton Rouge, Mississippi, Gulf Coast, Thibodaux, Houma, Hammond, Lake Charles, Mobile, year after year. Thank you for choosing us best grocery store on the Gulf Coast. Number one. Thank you.
Thank you.
The number one grocery store
In Mississippi, Alabama,
Louisiana. 1 million customers a week can't be wrong. Welcome to Rouse's.
The NewOrleans.Football show is proudly presented by PJ's Coffee. PJ's Coffee has some of the best drinks that you can find. They have locations all over the city. They have pastries and everything else you need to get your day started. So go check them out. Looking for the best insurance coverage at the lowest price? Look no further than Shough Insurance, the Earhart Agency. They are a local independent insurance agency right here in New Orleans, specializing in home, flood, and auto insurance. At Shough Insurance, the Earhart Agency, their dedicated team will shop every available carrier in the market, ensuring you get the most comprehensive coverage at the lowest possible price. Why settle for less when you can have the best? Trust Shough Insurance, the Earhart Agency, to protect what matters most to you. I do. I've been a client of theirs since 2021. Call them today at 504-326-6526 or visit them online at Protected by Shough. That's 504-326-6526. Shough Insurance, the Earhart Agency, your local insurance experts. Hardhide Ponchatoula Strawberry Whiskey is an 86 proof blend of aged wheat bourbon, American light whiskey, and fresh Ponchatoula strawberries. Blended in New Orleans, it is not for the thin-skinned. Look for it in your favorite stores, bars, and restaurants. Attention Saints fans, don't let pests and termites invade your home field. Trust the team at Red Pest Solutions to tackle those unwelcome visitors. Call the Red Man today for unbeatable pest and termite control. Score peace with no pest. Visit redpest.com, REDDPEST.com. Welcome back to NewOrleans.Football. Our next segment is presented by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. The schedule release is next week, Wednesday. That is coming up kind of quick. We already know who the Saints are going to play, but we're going to know when they're going to play them. Let's just let's do a little back and forth draft. I'll let you go number one game. We're just going to pick the games we're most excited to see. We'll count the divisional teams each as one. We aren't going to take Tampa Bay twice or whatever. But what game are you most excited to see?
This is boring and basic. I think people want to know who else is on the schedule besides the usual suspects. But if I'm being completely honest, I want to see the Saints play the Falcons. I want to know what they are with Michael Penix. I want to know, I mean, that's the big rival, but it's also where are both of those teams in their development? Do the Saints have their own version of Michael Penix by the time those two teams are playing and they're going to be competitive with them? That's who they're going to be measured against. The Falcons are a completely new look team. They hit on a couple of defensive draft picks. I want to know how good they're going to be. I don't think there's games on the schedule that matter more than Saints Falcons this year.
It's a good one too, and you kind of got now the parallels of the Saints and the Falcons being measured by their quarterbacks, who are both very kind of similar. Penix is an older guy, had a bunch of injuries in college. Shough's an older guy, had a bunch of injuries in college. I think the difference is that Penix had 2 ACLs, which kind of scares me a little bit more than 2 clavicle breaks and a leg break. But these two are going to be kind of comped against each other forever for obvious reasons, but there's multiple parallels there as well. For me, my number one pick, it's going on the road and it's going to Seattle, and I want to see Kubiak in that offense against the Saints in this defense and kind of get that measuring stick. Feels a little bit like a premium game. Seattle's a cool location. It's a cool place to play. There's cool Saints history there. It's Kellen Moore kind of going back home to it's not his hometown, but it's near his hometown, Washington. He grew up a Seahawks fan, I believe he said. So like it's kind of fascinating to have that there. Look, he was in the building for the Beachquake game. He told us. So
that's true.
So yeah, it's just kind of a cool like full circle moment there, I think, and a couple tie-ins.
I picked at Seattle as one of the 2 road games that I put on my list, and I had forgotten the element that Kellen Moore was from there too. So there are a lot of cool elements. I was looking this up while you were talking. Michael Penix is 8 months older. Tyler Shough is 8 months older than Michael Penix. So, like anyone who views Michael Penix as a young quarterback and Tyler Shough as an old one, they're basically about to be the same age on May 8th. The other fascinating road game that I had on here is at Buffalo, but that kind of feels more like a reality check, dangerous for your spirit or whatever. Road game, and at Seattle's the other one I put on there. But I'm going to go home versus the Jets. This is a comparison. Speaking of Kellen Moore being hired as head coach, how about the Jets are the ones who got Aaron Glenn, who was seen as a front runner here. And they're kind of doing the same thing. They're moving on from Aaron Rodgers. They're going with Justin Fields. They're trying to rebuild their culture. It's the coach that many thought was going to be the Saints' top choice versus the coach that the Saints ended up with. I think that'll be a kind of a key measuring stick game when the Jets come into the Superdome.
That's a good pick. Really good pick. Really good spot to put it there. Absolutely was in my top realm. But my next pick, and I probably missed up here. I'm gonna say you outdrafted me on that one. You beat me to the better pick. My next one was actually going to be Bills, and I think this season's about embracing that things are probably going to suck. And the Bills, you probably aren't going to beat the Bills. It doesn't matter when you go there and you're going to kill them. But as a fan of football, and if you just want to go and see a cool game in a cool place and experience cool culture, it's Buffalo. And yeah, they're going to kill them. They probably don't have a prayer if they beat them. Like that makes everything way more exciting. I hope this game's early in the year and not late in the year because the blizzard would be absolutely awful to go up there in.
That would make it more of a 13-3 game.
It's harder to get in. It's harder to get out. All that. Don't want to be there for that. But I think the Bills kind of have the greatest alignment with the Saints, like in terms of just fan culture and how much people care what it means to the area and all that. So Bills were my number 2 pick. For the group, we got him fourth overall.
No, yeah, look, I mean, I mentioned it too because it's like at Buffalo screams the best game on the schedule. Like they've become one of the it teams in the NFL, but you've got to be ready to go at Buffalo. So it's like almost like, can we reschedule this game for 2 years from now when we get our stuff together? But no, I agree. And for the same reason, the last one I'll pick is home against the 49ers. Now, the 49ers are not the Buffalo Bills currently. Actually, the 49ers might be falling apart a little bit. They had more guys leaving their team than joining their team this offseason. Some of the ones that are still there are dealing with injuries. They are not the premier 1 or 2 best teams in the NFL that they were a couple years ago, but they're still the 49ers. Historically, they're still one of the better teams in the league this year. So when they come into the Superdome, it's going to feel like a special game.
So you win all home games, right? Well, maybe.
Falcons,
maybe.
whichever, yeah.
I'm going another road game. I'm going Titans. And I think it's just
the opposite of Buffalo.
The opposite of Buffalo, but I think it's kind of interesting. Jackson Dart's probably not going to be playing.
No, that's Giants. And that's funny. That's
well, that's what I'm saying. He's probably not going to be playing.
That's why you didn't.
So it's like the rookie. No.
Okay.
He's probably not going to be playing. So I think like the rookie quarterback showdown that could be possible if Cam Ward is ready to play would be Cam Ward, Tyler Shough. Dart's probably a year away from getting actual reps there. So I think that kind of sets up, kind of the rookie draft class showdown there. So I would be interested to see that game if Cam Ward's starting it.
That's funny. You confused me because the only other one that I didn't draft was home versus Giants, and in parentheses I put Jackson Dart. Like it could be Shough versus Jackson Dart, but you're right. Shough versus Cam Ward could be the only 2 rookie starting quarterbacks facing each other. Maybe they'll even give him like a Thursday night football time window for that.
Any other ones on here you're eager to see?
Yeah, no, I mean, when I made my case for the Falcons, I didn't add Buccaneers to the list, but like at some point, this deal that the Buccaneers made with the devil to just get to win this division every year, it was the deal the Saints tried to make with the devil. Like at some point, the Buccaneers are going to fall off. I don't think they are that much better of an organization than the Saints are. They've just been staying a little healthier and winning 1 or 2 games more than the Saints in this run. So the division becomes wide open if the Buccaneers fall back to the middle of the pack where they should be. So those are important games for sure.
The Saints they kind of got a really good, like if you're traveling if you're someone that travels to the games or travels to all the games, you got a really nice schedule here. They're actually tough to pick. Like I don't know if I was picking one, I don't even know which one I would pick.
Well, it's definitely a different conversation. Like if you're looking at this from a Saints football perspective, that's a conversation we just had. If you're looking at it from a travel perspective, it's a fascinating one. Yeah, you mentioned Seattle, you mentioned Buffalo, Miami. They're hitting like every corner of the country.
Rams is a good game to go to. That's a cool stadium. LA is obviously always cool. I'm kind of good on LA. We've spent enough time there. Chicago is a great one to go to. Nashville's obviously a great city. And then the home schedule is kind of meh. Like it really
a lot of bad teams on the home schedule.
Yeah, like I have no idea what the 49ers are going to be this year. Super injured last year, but outside of them, there's really no one. Kyler's fun, though. Kyler will be a fun game. That's a fun game to watch. Throw them on my list somewhere is a draft pick. I like watching Kyler Murray play. All right, we're going to hit a quick break, and we'll be back with the question of the day. You ever take a bite of something and immediately think, yeah, I'm coming back for this? Bobby Hebert's Cajun Cannon Restaurant just added some new dishes, and man, they crushed it. The shrimp and crawfish pistolets, golden and stuffed with bold Cajun flavor. Fried oyster tacos, crispy, fresh with the perfect kick. And the soft shell crab Alfredo, creamy, rich, and absolutely worth the order. They're open 7 days a week, and they deliver late. Bobby Hebert's Cajun Cannon Restaurant. Delicious food, superior service.
Here at the Queen Casino, indulgence knows no bounds. Prepare your taste buds for an extraordinary culinary journey. Start your day at Capital Coffee. Craving something different? 3 Woks Noodle Bar offers a tantalizing selection of Asian delights. At 1717 Kitchen and Cocktails, savor American cuisine with a twist. Or ascend to the loft for an elevated experience. Enjoy artesian grazing boards and exquisite craft cocktails. Join us at the Queen Casino. Your royal adventure awaits.
Welcome back to NewOrleans.Football. It is now time for the question of the day, presented by Bobby Hebert's Cajun Cannon Restaurant. Which non-rookie players on offense and defense do you think will most benefit from scheme changes?
I don't know. I mean, there's so many guys. It would be great if this defense was better for them. Alontae Taylor being one, Brian Brzee being another. The big investments on Kool-Aid on that side of the ball. I don't know if they will. I don't know if this is a better fit for him. The one that I definitely would invest in is I believe Kellen Moore could be good for Rashid Shaheed. Like, we know he likes to move the ball downfield. We know he's added a bunch of pieces. We know he has a vision for how he can get the ball downfield. He's going to try to establish a run game that creates play action, maybe better than Kubiak did. I mean, that's a guy who needs a good offensive mind to finally tap into his potential. That's the first one that came to my mind with that question.
Kool-Aid's a good one because I think they play a lot of pattern match at Alabama, and that's what Staley's well versed in. So if they do that, I think that's kind of really tailor made for him. Those guys in the front is hard for me to say because I don't really feel like they've. It's just so weird. Like, you put so much emphasis on talking about the 3-man, they're going to be more in what they've done forever. But like, as far as getting stand-up rushers and stuff, I don't know that they really have anyone that I'm looking at that's like, yes, this is definitely going to be better for them. I kind of got to see it, I guess. I kind of have trouble even getting through it in my head when I'm trying to envision how everyone's going to be used and utilized. Is Chase Young standing up more now? It's not that drastic of a difference either. Like, when they were playing 4-man front and Davenport came in and he was unable to get into a 3-point stance, they let him rush from the stand-up 2-point stance. And, I think there's just like a lot of thought into that isn't necessarily translatable into it. But it is different and it does open things up. But I think we got to see it. But I'm with you. I kind of who will benefit the most, I think, is probably pretty much anyone on the offense if this guy's any good at what he does, and we think he is. So if Kellen Moore's good at designing offense and calling plays and all that stuff, I think it's just easier to kind of take what you have there and make it work within your vision, as opposed to, like, with Staley, I think he's kind of limited in how far he can go and execute exactly what he wants to do until he has all the pieces, and you can't get all the pieces right now. So
he's going to have to design. And for that reason, it's critical that they figure out a way to make Brian Brzee work in this defense. Like you have to build something around him. Like, even though he's had the sack numbers, I feel like I'm still a little make or break on Brian Brzee. Yeah. Like he's kind of, I don't know, Cesar Ruiz-ish to me. Like, it could still be there, but it might not be. And I think it's critical that they're like, whatever makes Brian Brzee an asset, we have to accentuate that in this defense. And I think they will see the importance of that. But man, there's a danger of him getting lost in the shuffle. There's I could list 9 guys as thinking they're going to be starting defensive ends on this team this year, including him, because he's not really a nose tackle, but obviously in nickel defense that they're going to be running most of the time, you can have him next to another tackle. But he can't get lost in the shuffle in whatever they're designing on this defense.
I agree. The Brzee thing is huge. Like, it's a huge part of it. Obviously talent there, obviously moments there, obviously glimmers there, but the consistent, and the idea was they drafted this guy, and I think he's been fine. But the idea was they drafted him and his best ball was ahead of him. And I don't necessarily know that it's absolutely been that way. There was obviously issues that a lot of those people have been vocal about with the coaching on the defensive line. So yeah, whatever it is, I think it's still there, but got to see it at this point. It's 2 years, it's the same thing for everyone. You get that, by year 3, if it's not hitting, like, you kind of got to start. All right, like, this is just what it is at that point. And if that's all it is, that's fine. He's still a good player. He's still usable. But yeah, the idea that there's something more, like, I think you got to see it at this point. So that's going to do it for today's show. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll talk to you next time.